Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome to this week's show. We have a very, very special guest on this week's show, and he is dominating the social housing markets and the social housing scenes. So I thought it'd be really, really relevant to have a video with him and find out exactly how he's doing it and exactly what he's doing to profit from social housing without actually buying any. Now, before we get into that, what I want you to do, if you've not already subscribed, click on the link below, get subscribed, you'll never miss an upload, and I'll be doing videos every single week. However, before we go any further, let me introduce our special guest today. This is Andy Niner, and he is from Venture Source Limited in South Wales. Hello, my friend.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Alasdair.
Good. Firstly, I just want to thank you for coming on board and sharing your business and what you do. I'm sure there's many people are interested in the social housing sector, and I know it's something you've really got into quite recently, and you're doing like really good things. So yeah, just introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, yep, so I'm Andy Niner from Venture Source Limited, and thanks for having me on as well, Alasdair. At the moment with the lockdown, with this beard, I'm looking very similar to the love child of Gandhi and Sasquatch.
Oh, okay.
I'm into social housing, and it's the supported accommodation model that I'm involved in.
Okay.
I've built relationships up with several supported accommodation providers over the past year, and it's just really starting to take off at the beginning of this year. Things are really happening. This model can be used UK wide, but you need to find where those companies are, and at the moment I'm just dealing with Birmingham and Bradford.
Okay, that's cool. So like talk to me a little bit, like tell me, let's just define social housing supported accommodation. What is that? Let's just define that so people actually have a really clear understanding of what that actually means.
Okay, yeah, so social housing is usually something that is paid, the rent is paid by the government.
Okay.
And the model that we use, supported accommodation, people, it's more than just DSS. It's not just people who are unemployed, it's people who have got extra needs. So we're looking at people like asylum seekers, homeless, people with low mental health issues.
Okay.
Maybe
So the vulnerable of society. The
yeah,
vulnerable
that's right. They're
society.
needing a bit of extra help, basically.
So let me just get this right. You have a property, or you find a property, and you then how does this, talk me through how it would work? So you go out, you find a property, you give it to a local authority, and they then house their tenants and then pay you like a guaranteed sort of rent every month. Is that?
That's right, yes. So contracts tend to work for 5 years, tend to run for 5 years.
Okay.
So the landlord hands over their property to the supported accommodation company through me. The supported accommodation company make sure people are in there. They cover all the maintenance, and there aren't any voids because the rent is guaranteed on a monthly basis.
And it's coming from the council, so you know you're going to get it.
That's right.
What I think is really interesting about you is you're combining this with your sourcing business. So not only are you so earlier conversations we had, now correct me if I'm wrong, is you will go out, you'll find a property,
yeah,
you'll sell that property to an investor for a finder's fee, so you'll get a sourcing fee, but then you'll also put that vendor in touch with the social housing sector, and then you'll manage it, so you'll get a percentage of the income as well. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. We can run it from start to finish. So find the property for the investor. We can manage the refurb if it needs anything on the house, and then we can sort all the contracts out with the supported accommodation company and follow it through, run it for the 5-year period. That's right. Yes.
I mean, that's a pretty hands-off investment. Like, obviously, I have a deal sourcing business, and I work with you very closely on deal sourcing. It's a very hands-off approach. So if you're an overseas, if you're an investor from anywhere, really, and you want a complete hands-off approach, that's such a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
You will find the deal. You'll do all the work. You will then put tenants in there and get guaranteed rental income. Like, how can you go wrong?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, an overseas investor wouldn't even have to see the house. It could all
Yeah.
be running for them. That's right.
Well, especially because you've got the connections with the local authorities. So tell me, how did you get into this? Like, how did you get into sourcing? How did you get into the social sector, particularly, as opposed to sort of working folk?
So, I mean, the sourcing started with yourself, Alistair. So we came on your course, and
Yeah.
you led us the way there. We sold a house, we sold our family home, and we used the money to set up the sourcing company, put some money into some extra education, and we've got a buy to let, which is on the side as well, which is almost complete as well.
Yeah.
And then it was just through networking, because networking is, you've got to become a networking ninja, as you say,
Yeah,
Alistair.
listen, everyone I teach about deal sourcing, I say just drop everything. You've got to become a networking ninja.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah,
to
that's
get
it.
out there.
And it
Because
was
if you
just
don't
talk,
get yourself out there,
just
nobody knows who you are.
that's right. Yeah, it was just talking to people, at various meetings, taking the opportunity to stand up and say what I do. I usually put one of those funny lookalikes into it, which gets people laughing, which makes it not so boring as some of these meetings
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah.
And just getting to know people, getting to know, like, and trust me.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I know it's taken 6 months to 12 months to get this going, but now that you're actually managing properties, you're dealing with the properties, you're sourcing, you're dealing with investors, you've built an investors list, so you're doing very well out of it. You're still currently working in your job, I believe, is that correct?
Yeah, so I've got the driving school as well, which I've been running for 10 years.
Yeah,
Of course, now I'm not being able to do any driving lessons because of the lockdown.
yeah,
So it's been it's a bit scary for everybody, I suppose, because you're losing money. But we did have some money aside, which has helped us that's getting through this. And I've just had loads of time now to put into the sourcing
yeah.
business and the property stuff, which is brilliant.
So, if any of our viewers are watching this and there may be a landlord who is looking to do something alternative with their property. Now, I know many people have looked at social sectors before, but they've been put off because they think DSS tenants, the property is going to get trashed, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I know quite a few landlords that actually prefer DSS because the councils guarantee the rent, and also the councils generally do the maintenance of the properties as well.
yeah,
So you don't really have to worry too much. I know it's a lower monthly income, but you don't have maintenance, you don't have voids, all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit
yeah.
of a, you've got to balance it, and weigh up the odds of either way. So any of our viewers, how can they get into the social sector? How can they get the foot in that door if they are already sourcing, or if they've got properties and they're looking to get guaranteed tenants, guaranteed rents?
Well, I'm running a webinar on Thursday at 11 o'clock. It's going to be running for a few weeks, there's going to be a lot of detail in there.
This way, you're running it this week.
This week, yeah, it's on Thursday of this week at
I'll
11
put a
o'clock.
link. I'll for everyone that wants to join that webinar, I'll stick a link in the description box below.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll send you that link, Alistair. That's going to be running for 4 or 5 weeks as well. So if people can't get there this week, they could get there the following week or something like that. So I'll be giving a lot of information out then. I'll be talking mostly about the areas that I cover because that's where my experience is.
Yeah.
But you can take that information to any sort of major town or city across the UK. Pretty much all of them do it. And it's getting out there networking. So if anyone's looking for stuff in Birmingham or Bradford, I can sort that out for them. You might be existing landlords that want to bring your properties across. I can sort that out as well. Yeah.
Now, it's a really interesting business model. I've got properties in Wolverhampton, and if they covered Wolverhampton, like at the minute they're all into it. But
it is happening in Wolverhampton, not with the company that I'm doing, but I could put you in touch with somebody there, Alistair.
Yeah, well, I've got a few properties in Wolverhampton, and currently they're fully tenanted. So when they become vacant, maybe I'll look at that because it's certainly much easier, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
As an investor, what do we all want? We all want a guaranteed rental income and no hassle. That's what we want.
That's right.
If you can provide that, amazing stuff. So Talk to me about, I know you're doing property, you're actually investing in property yourself. You've got a buy, refurbished, refinance deal in Wales that you're doing, or
Yeah.
I viewed it, I come and viewed it 6 months ago and we videoed there. But what actually, where are we at with that? What's happening with that property?
Yeah, so there was more work than we expected on that
There
one,
always
and it
is.
was the first one in the valleys of Wales. So we were finding contractors and all the rest of it, which is quite difficult. So it's cost a bit more than expected, but it's been a big learning curve,
Yeah.
and it's almost ready. If we hadn't have had this lockdown, it would have been done. There's only a week's worth of work left on it, and we've got a tenant ready to go in that
Yeah.
property.
Well, I remember when I viewed it, like I remember you telling me that when you guys moved, got the keys and you went to view it, all the neighbours come out and were like, are you taking this property? Because apparently it was like a drug den and there was all sorts going in there. And
that's right, yeah, it was pretty bad in there, and we found syringes and all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
So and it's quite a, it's a nice little family area as well. So it was the blot on the landscape, but now the neighbour, her mum, wants the house to live in so she can be next to her daughter and her grandchildren. So it's a win-win, definitely.
Yeah, good. And you're getting good rental income, and you've invested your money. You're going to be able to refinance that when all this sort of settles down, hopefully.
That's right.
You get the majority of your money out, if not all of it, which is amazing. And you can reinvest into the next project going forward. So I think like future is amazing. Future is going to be brilliant. Especially I'm really interested in what you're doing with the social sector. So I'll maybe jump on that webinar on Thursday. But yeah, I think that'd be really good. So just a couple of top tips. If you had to give somebody some tips on how to sort of get involved in the social sector, what would they be? Maybe 2 or 3.
Okay, so well, first of all, is find the most important thing is finding a property that works with a supported accommodation company that are willing to take that on. Okay. So any properties that we find, we've got a letter of recommendation from the supported housing company saying they'll take it on if you buy it. So that's really important.
Yeah.
And yeah, not going too big with the houses as well, because if you get into 8, 9, 10 bedrooms, you can get friction between the tenants. So 4 or 5 rooms is ideal, really.
Thing is, you're dealing with people that are already vulnerable. So if you put a lot of them together, maybe there's a little bit of sort of friction could appear quite quickly, I would have thought.
That's right, yeah. We've got with the one company that I'm working with up in Bradford, they've just got themselves 2 huge HMOs. Well, they're HMO standards next door to each other, 15 beds. Wow. But they're going to be fully manned, so that's going to be their headquarters. They've got their offices there and they've got staff there all the time. Right. So any clients that they take on, they're going to come into this place first, and they can see what they're like, what problems they're going to have with them, and then guide them into which house or residency is going to be.
So they're going to be doing a lot of research before they move.
But yeah, it's really important that you get involved with a decent supported accommodation company, because there's some real rogues out there, like road landlords with houses that are a complete mess. They don't supply the support that they're supposed to supply, which causes major problems to people who are already vulnerable.
Okay, so number 1, find the right property in the right area and make sure the supported provider is actually looking for properties in that area. And actually, I would say, speak to them first and find out what properties they're looking for. Like, they might want big properties or they might want small properties, but if you find a provider in the area, actually have a conversation with them, say, look, what sort of properties are you looking for? And if I can find them, would you take them? So number 1, find the properties in the area and make sure that the right properties that are needed for that area. What about the next thing? What else would you do?
So, well, I suppose really finding the best supported accommodation company would come before that. Making sure that they're reputable and they're going to give the support that is required. You can weigh them up pretty quickly, they're pretty straight talking, and you can tell if somebody's in it for the right reasons. The thing is, it's quite lucrative. Everybody can win here. I can earn money from organising it. The landlord earns a better rent than they normally would as a buy-to-let with no voids or maintenance. And the supported housing company, they're getting good money and, you know, supplying people with work as well. So nobody has to be greedy on this. Everybody can win.
Well, I think we always teach that win-win. If everyone wins, then it's good. It should never be a win-lose. And just back to the provider, have you found them quite easily accessible in the sense of if you phoned them up, or have you found them quite sort of open to a conversation, or are they very standoffish?
They're quite standoffish, yeah. It was so it was through networking and getting to know one person that led me to another, that led me to another. After those people liked me, that got me the way in, to be honest. So it does take a bit of time to get in with them.
So,
and of course they don't want to be dealing with loads and loads of different landlords because they're so busy.
Yeah, so this comes back to obviously about a year ago, you done my Done With You mentoring for deal sourcing. And one of the big things I talk about is how property is a people's person.
Absolutely.
Property is a people's business. You've got to network like crazy, and you've got to meet lots of people, because it's not so much, it's the people that will bring you business, which you've obviously proved. I'm actually really pleased that you've got to this level now, because you've implemented what I taught you. You've implemented the whole get out there, network, meet people, talk, just get out there and put yourself out there, and the results come. I hope you're starting to see the financial results as well, but the results definitely come when you just do it, and you do it 100% all the time, and you don't
That's
give
it.
up.
It's that consistency as well, because to start with I was a bit stop start and I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. But once I decided, you know, I'm going to do this many hours every single week, that's when the results started to come. And with the networking now, most of the main networking meetings are online, which is even better for me, because I'm in Wales. I haven't got to drive to Bradford, which is 5 hours away. So
oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Listen, the most successful people I know in property are the people that are prepared to do 5-hour drives.
Yeah.
That are prepared to drive from one end of the country to the other to go and view 10 properties. That are prepared to go to that networking event. It's only got 6 people there. Honestly, they're the people that are always going to be successful. It's the people that are sat on their ass and they say, oh, I'll go to the next month. I'll go to the next month. They never do anything. And then they want to blame somebody for their lack of success. You're proof in the pudding that if you just do it, it works. If you just do it, you get results. Listen, Andy, send me that link for that webinar. What we'll do, I'll stick that below in the bio of this video. Hopefully you guys jump on his webinar, listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about this sector. It's really, really good, and you can learn a lot from him. So jump on his webinar, catch up with him. This has been Andy Niner from Venture Source Limited. I'll also put his website and his contact details below, so if you want to contact him, you can. Andy, thank you very, very much for appearing on this week's show. I wish you the utmost success. Let's catch up soon, and yeah, thank you very much for appearing.
Thank you very much, Alasdair.
No problem, anytime. Guys, listen, if you've enjoyed that video, click on the link below, get subscribed, never miss an upload. I will be back next time, and we'll be talking about more amazing property strategies and more ways you guys can get involved in property as quick as possible and learn as much as possible. Thank you very much, guys, and we will see you next time.